Well, folks, it seems like Mother Nature decided to put on a bit of a show in southern Ontario this past weekend. And by show, I mean a bone-chilling, teeth-chattering ice storm that left a whole lot of folks in the dark. It all started on Saturday, March 29, 2025, when a wave of freezing rain swept across the region, turning everything it touched into a slippery, glistening hazard zone. From Vaughan to Newmarket, Pickering to Oshawa, folks woke up to a world encased in ice. Even Toronto, Mississauga, and Brampton, which were initially spared the worst of it, eventually succumbed to the icy grip of the storm as the day wore on. The freezing rain, you see, is particularly nasty stuff. It doesn't just make things slippery, it weighs down tree branches, power lines, and pretty much anything else it comes into contact with. And that, my friends, is where the real trouble began. As the ice accumulated, those overburdened branches started to snap and fall, taking down power lines with them like a bunch of dominoes. By Saturday afternoon, over 85,000 homes and businesses across southern Ontario were without power, plunging entire communities into darkness. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been through my fair share of power outages in my time. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like the feeling of helplessness that washes over you when the lights go out and you're left fumbling around in the dark. It's inconvenient, sure, but for some folks, it can be downright dangerous. Imagine being elderly or having a medical condition that requires electricity to power life-saving equipment. Without power, those folks are in a real bind. And then, there's the issue of staying warm. When the power goes out in the middle of a Canadian winter, things can get mighty chilly, mighty fast. That's why it's so important to be prepared for power outages, especially during the winter months. Make sure you've got a well-stocked emergency kit with flashlights, batteries, a first aid kit, and some non-perishable food and water. And if you have a fireplace, make sure it's clean and ready to go. But the power outages weren't the only danger posed by this ice storm. The freezing rain also turned roads and sidewalks into treacherous skating rinks, making it downright perilous to venture outside. Environment Canada issued freezing rain warnings for much of southern Ontario, urging folks to stay home unless absolutely necessary. And for good reason. Hospitals reported a surge in emergency room visits, with folks coming in with everything from broken bones to concussions, all because they slipped and fell on the ice. Schools were closed, businesses were shuttered, and even the Aurelia Public Library had to close its doors because of the power outage. It was a mess, pure and simple. Now, in the face of all this chaos, the folks at Hydro One, our trusty electricity provider, were working around the clock to try and restore power to those affected. But it was a tough job, made even tougher by the fact that many roads were impassable due to downed trees and power lines. They brought in extra crews from other parts of the province, and they were out there braving the elements, working tirelessly to get the lights back on. But it was a slow and painstaking process, and for some folks, it meant spending a second night in the dark. It's a good reminder that even in this day and age, we're still at the mercy of Mother Nature. And when she decides to unleash her fury, the best we can do is be prepared, stay safe, and lend a helping hand to those in need.